Dreaming of blissful summer days and creamy popsicles? Capture sun-drenched memories with the Orange Vanilla Dream Hydration Multiplier from Liquid IV. Just one stick and 16 ounces of water can help hydrate you better than water alone. Live your summer dream with Liquid IV. Tear, pour, live more. Go to liquidiv.com and get 20% off your first order with code INDULGE20 at checkout.
So we have all these different parts to our personality, but somehow we take our identity by our job. And then certainly there are lawyers who are lawyers 24 hours a day. That's their issue, not mine. But we define ourselves by our role, our job title, rather than what's in our heart, what's in our head, what's in our being. And so those conversations were always fun, but it helped demystify me as away from a lofty lawyer to an approachable friend.
You're a human first.
Yes.
And what makes me this human? And then my job is just part of that, you know?
Do you ever feel like no matter what you do, it's not good enough? Like perfectionism is the only standard, yet you're still left feeling behind. Perfectionism keeps us stuck. It robs us of our peace, our joy, and our freedom to just be. That's why I created Beauty of Imperfection, Good is Enough, a guided workbook to help you let go of the pressure, quiet your inner critic, and start celebrating progress over perfection. Inside, you'll find journaling prompts, tools that remind you your worth has never depended on being perfect. It's time to embrace the beauty of imperfection because good really is enough. And let me remind you, you are always worthy. You already are. Get your copy today. Emotionally unavailable. Welcome to Emotionally Unavailable, the podcast where we dive deep into the world of emotional availability and intimacy. I'm your host, Malisa Hepner, and I can't tell you how excited I am to have you join me on this journey of self-discovery and connection. Whether you're navigating the complexities of relationships or exploring your own emotional landscape, this podcast is here to inspire, empower, and entertain. So get cozy and let's explore the depths of human emotions together. Hi guys, happy Friday. I hope it is fabulous. Hope you're doing well. I am doing well, except for that I have had shit sleep for the last week, and that is not a good time for me. But otherwise, okay, I've had time to take naps and stuff, so there you go. I guess I'll just get right into introducing today's guest. Today's guest is Larry Easto, who has over 40 years of experience in providing professional services as a lawyer, consultant, writer, trainer, and coach. The heart of his work lies in experiential learning, the principles of which he applies to help clients develop and apply their own solutions to their issues and opportunities. Preferring to empower clients to meet and overcome their challenges over telling them what they should do, Larry endeavors to equip them with the right tools to make informed decisions. He has authored 47 books, ebooks, and video courses since 1993, sharing practical strategies for professional and business growth. In 2024, Larry published How to Succeed in Your Professional Service Business, which is available online and offline through all major booksellers. Late in the year, he also created and published Your Transformation Connection, a 12-lesson video course, as well as New Beginnings and New Opportunities, a free ebook, both of which are intended to help motivated individuals make the transformation from where they are to where they want to be. Excuse me. Okay, so Larry, very sweet guy. I really had so much fun with him. If I'm being 100% honest, I feel anxious every time I'm about to interview with a male. And especially because, I accept pitches from people, I accept them on the show if based purely off intuition. So, it's only steered me wrong a couple times, but honestly, good dude. Really, I think the lawyer part, even though all of his stuff just indicates that he's right where I am, I mean, I think it's probably his age group. I'm terrified of people in his age group based off my trauma with my grandma. So, there's that, but like, I don't know, I love him. So, he's a great storyteller and just like doing really good work. So I'm really excited for you guys to hear this. And the links that I will include in the show notes, I'll probably just go to Amazon, type in his name and anything there under that. I'll include that link just because it's the easiest. His website also has links to like where you can find his courses, things like that. So I will include that. And yeah, I guess just those two. Trying to think if there's anything else I can do here. Yeah, I think that's it. But don't I don't know. I think one of the reasons that I was hesitant is because like his book is called How to Succeed in Your Professional Service Business, but like because I was like, okay, well the subtitle is from mindset to marketing attitudes and actions. So I was kind of nervous that like he was just going to be trying to like coach the whole time, but not because of him, but because I've had people have trouble revealing themselves and then how they're incorporating those things into their coaching. And so like I guess I was nervous he would be that way, but he really wasn't. Very real, very authentic. I really liked him. So yeah, I think you will too. I think that you can take everything he says and apply it in any which part of your life that you feel it necessary. And yeah, so okay, again, check the show notes for his links. And I guess that's all. So here's me and Larry. Have a great weekend. Emotionally unavailable. Okay, well, it's very nice to meet you. I'm glad that you're here. And when I was looking over your Podmatch profile again this morning, I kind of always just look at it and see like which direction I want to go based off what tugs at my heart that day. And something that you said, I want to look at it again. It was how can highly sensitive people succeed in an insensitive world? Because you do a lot of work with is entrepreneur an okay way to put that, or just small business owners, or
Yeah, my target niche is I consider them service professionals, self-employed professionals like coaches, consultants.
yeah,
Um,
okay.
and the reason for that is that like me, many of those folks really didn't want to be an entrepreneur. We'd rather help clients than run a business. So an entrepreneur is kind of a by default. The main thing is client service.
Yeah, okay, that's an excellent way to say that. And I feel like that's almost like the logical step for most people who are doing like heart-centered work,
Oh,
like because
exactly.
you make like a really big impact and you start to realize, because I've kind of been in that spot too, where you start to realize like the one-on-one is only going to get you so far. And so anyway, we don't have to go down that rabbit hole, but um I've had a few people on that really talked about just sensitivity and highly sensitive people. And I think it's always a topic that's worthy to come back to because, well, I'm probably projecting because I was called too sensitive my whole life because you know how it is when you're around
Oh
emotionally
yeah.
unavailable people and they
Oh
can't
yeah.
handle feedback to their insensitivity.
Oh yeah. Oh
And
yeah.
so that was a really big one for me. And even in work, when I didn't work for myself before, I mean, I found myself forced into this very masculine energy in life and in work because I was so sensitive in all kinds of ways, energetically, but just my little tender heart was so triggered by people who I deemed as mean. So if that's an okay place to start for you, I
Oh
would love to
sure.
start there.
Oh, let's go. Sure. Sure.
Okay. So what do you classify as highly sensitive? We'll start there because I've heard it said a few different ways.
Well, there's all sorts of new information on it. And I guess Elaine Aron's book 20 years ago kind of set the parameters. She has an assessment quiz. I think there's 27 factors to indicate your degree of being being highly sensitive. And when I saw this, I came across the book a number of years ago. When I came across it, I went through the assessment, and of the 27, I think I had 23 or 24 that indicated that I was highly sensitive. And I remember at the time thinking, "Oh, that's cool. So what?" It's kind of like when I had my Myers-Briggs assessment, and I was a, I don't know, introvert feeling percent, whatever, I forget right now. So shows how important it is, right? But it was one of
Right,
those.
right.
That's nice to know. But so I got brown eyes. But so what? What difference does that make in the overall scheme of things? And it wasn't until I guess earlier this year that I was invited to do a presentation at a neurodivergent conference talking about HSP. And I was thinking, well, what can I say about it? Because I've never thought about it. What does this mean in the workplace? So what I did was made a list of 8 or 10 common HSP attributes, and then just went through my work to find out where my work reflected these characteristics. And I was astounded when I finished that all of my work was just totally aligned with my leading HSP characteristics. So then I realized, well, okay, I guess this is a self-fulfilling prophecy. I'm really intuitive. So
Yeah.
intuitively, I incorporated my characteristics, my strengths into my work. And so that was basically the breakthrough for me, saying, well, okay, for whatever reason, I've managed to grab hold of these strengths and build on them and run with them.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, isn't that great? Good on me. I'd like to take a victory lap, but it was my
Yeah,
intuition.
yeah.
It was my intuition leading me in that. So that's when I thought, okay, so if that's true of me, there's probably lots of other people who have these amazing characteristics that they don't know about, that they might be able to leverage, they might be able to make something of, might be able to have some fun with. So that's how my current interest in HSP started, because of my overall, I guess my overall, what I consider my overall purpose is learning learning new things and sharing them with others. And so
Yeah.
this was just another step along the way. Hey guys, look what I learned. Do you think it'll work for you?
You know what's crazy is I identify so much with that. Like I say that all the time. Like that was my purpose has always been the same in that like I go through something, I figure it out and then I share it with others, but it wasn't until about maybe 6 months ago that was the language I started
Oh
using as I
yeah, yeah.
started to really understand like, oh, each new step, like I'm gonna learn a lot of different stuff. It's not just that. It's not just that. It's a lot of stuff that I
Oh
learn,
yeah.
and it's important that I then share that with others through a specific modality of storytelling. Like that's it. That's where my gifts seem to lie, and so anytime someone says that about themselves, I'm not, I guess I'm not that surprised because I feel like we find our way to each
Yeah.
other
Oh yeah,
anyway.
yeah.
You know what I
Oh
mean?
yeah, yeah. And the interesting thing is that you talked about the words. It's a combination of of finding the words that accurately describe the situation and having the confidence to say it.
Yes.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's taken me a long time to get to the point that I can talk about it without being, whether saying, "Oh, excuse my being woo woo" or something like that. It's taken a long time to really
Exactly.
grab hold of it.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
it's yeah, and it's an ongoing kind of a thing. So and this is and this is part of it. Doing these podcasts is part of it, part of helping other people learn learn what we've learned without our issues, without our problems.
Right. Exactly. And I think you saying that out loud makes me realize, A, I do still quantify and clarify things under the woo woo umbrella all the
Oh
time
yeah,
because I'm still learning to stand in my authenticity for that.
yeah,
Because for a while I didn't talk about like astrology or spirituality very much at all. And I didn't, I mean, some of that was because I was begging people I knew to come on my show because,
yeah,
in the early days, it's hard to figure out how to get guests. I didn't even know Podmatch was in existence.
right.
So, it took a while. But then, even as I did, I would consider cutting certain things, which I really have never edited very much out ever, but I would really sit and ponder, like, should I? And that's been a real evolution for me. But I appreciate, like, you talking. That is vulnerable still to say. I used to be embarrassed, or whatever word you want to use for it. It feels vulnerable to share those things with people sometimes. So I appreciate you acknowledging that.
Well, thank you. And it's it's been a long journey for me. I've over the past few years, I've recognized the value of authenticity, and it's really increasingly important for me to be my authentic self, and that includes saying things like I'm HSP. That includes
Mm-hmm.
saying things like I'm really intuitive. It includes saying things like I believe in a higher power than myself, which opens up a whole can of worms that a lot of people would rather avoid. And I'm thinking, well, yeah, okay, maybe some folks are uncomfortable with a higher power, but hey, it's been around for a long time and it's helped a lot of people. So that's kind of like, losing the baby with the bathwater. It's a horrible expression, but a lot of people are missing out on some great stuff because some of some built-in stupid biases.
Absolutely. Yeah,
And
and much fear around, if you think about, like, just how much we try to avoid pain as humans, and that being kind of our default state is to try to avoid pain without, like, if you're not living in a very conscious way, that's
right,
kind of what you're
right.
going to do. I feel like, if you are a person who has a complete lack of belief, that is the reason why, like, the idea of believing in something and being wrong just is insurmountable. You know what I mean?
That's interesting. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Interesting point. Yeah. Um, I, 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 I don't really know what to say. A couple of earlier in the month, I guess last month, my my wife's sister died. It was through medical assistance. Medical assistance in dying. We have that in Canada that you can get a doctor's approval and
I didn't
doctor.
know that you have that there. Okay, yeah.
And so this was a maid death, and for a variety of reasons, I've been helping clean out the apartment and look after the estate because that's the way mine works. If there's a problem, let's solve it, and let's not sit
Mm-hmm.
around wring our hands. And I've been going through her stuff, and it is just and it's over now. I mean, the auction, we had an auction, and everything's gone. So we're into the dull, boring legal part of it now. But as I'm going through her things to sort things out for the auction, I'm seeing all these really attractive little things. I'm just all sorts of little items like miniature collections and all sorts of things. I didn't see or feel any happiness. And I'm thinking, this is so sad. I mean, this lady has spent 75 years. All she's leaving is these things she's bought. There is no joy there. There is no element. There's no energy, no feeling of anybody having been here. And I'm talking about my legacy, and I want to do this and leave this for that. Not in terms of leaving into physical things, but leaving ideas and thoughts and inspiration. So here's
Mm-hmm.
my mindset going crazy, saying, where is the loving memory? Where is all this kind of thing? Very vehemently opposed to religion because she didn't like a Sunday school teacher.
Yeah.
And how sad. I mean, yes. And so when I think about higher power, um, it's unfortunate when people, as I say, have just kind of cut themselves off from such a powerful resource. It,
Absolutely, because, like, I have absolutely left religion and Christianity, but I'm very spiritual and very much believe I'm connected to something far bigger than me. I don't know how you can have, I mean, I'm not saying this out of judgment. This is a legitimate wonder that I have sometimes, how you can get through some of the things we experience as humans without a belief that there's a higher purpose for experiencing it.
oh yeah,
Like, I have to constantly be like, that I have that faith that I'm fundamentally supported in my
oh
endeavors.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So if I didn't have that, oh, I don't know how I'd make it.
Yeah, totally agree. Totally agree. It's well, the holistic approach is body, mind, and spirit. And if you're
Mm-hmm.
denying the spirit, it's like a tripod with two legs. It's not going to
Absolutely.
it's not going to stand too well.
Yeah. Well, and I feel like it really helped me to lean into so much because there was some science to back it up too. Like, that I could hear people talking about things that could translate into a scientific understanding also. I didn't need it per se, but it did help me to be more vocal about it. Like, yes, this is woo woo, or there's a scientific principle that can also back it up in terms of energy. You know what I mean? But like, like I said before, I'm getting much more comfortable just being like, you either are a person who can take what resonates and leave what doesn't, or you just turn my show off. Like,
Yeah, oh
whatever it
yeah.
is, whichever
Yeah.
category you fall under, that's
Oh
okay.
yeah, yeah, yeah. We don't we don't we don't have to have everybody in the world like us, nor do we have to
Exactly.
like everybody in the world.
Yeah, but as a recovering people pleaser, I can say that and I can mean it, but man, when I run into it, it's like it's okay if they don't like you. It's okay if they don't like you. Like I
Yeah,
have to really work through it still
yeah.
because I won't even like them either, but I don't like that they don't like me. And so then all of a sudden I'm conjuring up like better feelings for them than I originally had
Oh
just because
yeah,
I know
yeah,
they don't like me.
yeah. I trained as a lawyer and I practiced law for a long time. And I firmly believe that everybody's entitled to a lawyer, but it doesn't have to be me.
Right. Exactly. No, that's so good. That's so good. But you're right. I mean, and I said it and I meant it that I want the people meant for me in my energy and the people that I'm meant for. I want us to have these exchanges that light us up. Like, what is the point in even having a conversation like this if you're like dimming your light to do
Oh,
it, you know?
absolutely. And there's another element. One of the business cliches is do what you do best and delegate the rest. And that's, it sounds elitist and all that kind of stuff, but it really isn't. I I'm a pretty good planner, but first responder, not so much. When I was articling, training to be a lawyer, we had part of our practice was motor vehicle accidents. So it involved all the messy motor vehicle accident legal work. And I remember one time talking to my boss and I said, this is really frustrating. We do nothing but try to fixing situations, trying to solve problems after the fact. And he says, well, our job is to fix Humpty Dumpty up after he's fallen off the wall. And I said, yeah, I get that. But couldn't we find Humpty Dumpty another place to sit? And he said, oh, lawyers don't do that. And I said, why not? And so since then, I've realized, yeah, okay, my gifts do not lie. I'm not one of the king's men who rushed to Humpty Dumpty to put him together again. I'm the kind of the guy that says, Humpty Dumpty, you shouldn't be sitting on that wall. You're going to fall.
Yeah.
That rhymes. But that's part of my orientation. So my thinking now is I'll stay in my lane and I'll get out of your way so you first responders can do your job. I've got the certificates and I've got the know-how, but I just don't have the heart for that. But once you put the fire out, I'll help rebuild. That's because that's what I do. I'm a builder, I'm a rebuilder. And that's made it in some respects a lot easier for me that if somebody is really needy, I recognize how needy they are, but it's only a matter of time before, there's it's okay for us to chat, but I really can't do anything for you. I'm not the kind of person who can help you. And so again, I'm taking responsibility for my own association, where I choose to invest my emotional energy, what I choose to get involved in. And it's just so incredibly liberating. And not only is it liberating, I'm getting better at what I do because I'm not spending as much time and energy on what I suck at. It's crazy.
Yes. When you're not redesigning your life to try to be everything to everyone, you're sticking
Oh
to
yeah. Oh
who
yeah.
you are.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
I
And
love
that's
that.
and how old is that wisdom? Know thyself and to thine own self be true. I mean, it's been around thousands of years. And
Hmm.
yet so many of us work so hard to try to impress somebody else. Or the flip side is online experts or authorities or gurus or whatever saying, you do what I did and you too will be successful. Time
Thank
out.
you.
Time out. Not going to work that way. I mean, this is what I learned. If you can apply it, so be it. But,
Right.
I can't follow
Yeah,
somebody else's
the
map.
notion that there's a one size fits all for really anything in this world is so frustrating because like as a person who is still trying to grow my business, I I've listened to lots of different people and then kind of finally just decided like, well, I'm just going to continue to do what feels right and there will be a spark at some point that like does something, but I can't there I follow like my human design and my astrology and my intuition and I just kind of make moves based off that. But I mean, I'm sure there's other things I could do that are better, but you just hear way too much and
Yeah.
it is always do what I did.
Yeah.
And even the people who are really well meaning and will incorporate things like astrology and human design into the things that they're teaching, it's still kind of a one size fits all
Yeah. Oh,
approach.
yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
everyone.
Yeah. That's,
That was a blanket statement, but I'm saying that
yeah.
I'm expressing a frustration about some of
Oh,
the
yeah.
things I've come
I share that.
across.
I share that. A number of years ago, I took did a webinar. I wanted to learn how to improve my copywriting. I'm a competent writer when it comes to writing big chunks, but small sales copy isn't my forte. And so I did took a webinar, and these two guys going on and on and on, and they were phenomenally successful. They each generated millions of dollars worth of revenue, but they kept saying, you do exactly what I did, and you too will be successful. Don't even think of being creative until you're successful. I'm thinking, there's an
Mm-hmm.
oxymoron if ever there was one. And I was just so frustrated with that I went for a walk to burn off my frustration. And I found myself thinking, I'm in a people business. I work with people, I serve people. Um, why can't we attract clients the same way we make friends? When you're making friends, you don't lie to them, you don't sell to them, you don't pitch to them, you don't criticize them, you don't ignore them. So I played around with it and came up with the idea of authentic marketing to attract new business, generate new business, the same way we make friends and maintain friendships. And it's a model that works so well for me. I'm thinking, why didn't anybody think of this before? But it's just unbundle it. It's all about, okay, do what's right for me. And if it's right for me to treat people with respect and warmth and all that kind of stuff, I will do it. And if it resonates with them, fine. If it doesn't, that's good too.
No, I love that. And that's what I'm doing. I mean, to the best of my ability, I feel like I'm still learning online spaces kind of and how to be myself in
Yeah.
online spaces. Not that I'm being trying not to be myself, but I just feel like there's a barrier to
Oh, yeah.
making friends
Yeah.
or what, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Cuz
Yeah.
like sometimes I wonder because I just don't like making videos. I just don't
Oh,
like
I
it.
don't
I don't
either.
mind sharing clips of the podcast because that's genuine. I
Right.
love being genuine, but like in terms of getting on even if it's not scripted and it kind of has to be for me because I'll go off on a tangent and your videos can't be that long. So
Exactly.
you know, I've got these bullet points I'm trying to hit. I don't like it. It feels so inauthentic to
Oh,
me
I hear
and I
you.
don't want
I
to do
hear you.
anything that feels that inauthentic, you
Yeah.
know?
I've had the same frustration. And it's interesting. I'm using ClickFunnels, which is a really, really good sales funnel. And part of the feature is what they call a video sales letter, which is a video pitching the content to come. And I just recorded one this morning, as it turns out. But I hate talking heads. I hate shooting videos. So I'm using narrated slideshows. So
You are.
what I do is write an article, as if I'm telling somebody a story. And then I block it down into little chunks. And then I go online and I get stupid little clip art and stupid little pictures and everything, so that when I do it, it's a narrated slideshow. And I
I've
sometimes
been
I can be
thinking
really
about that.
silly, but there again, that shows part of my personality. We
Right.
we learn by seeing as well as we do by hearing. So when
You're
you're
so
losing,
right.
so when we're using a slideshow, we can build in a list or we can build in a picture of something. I use the image. I told the story of moving from the suburbs of Toronto to downtown Toronto and the big change. And I said there's something like four libraries and two universities within walking distance of me. That sounds pretty okay, right? I
Mm-hmm.
got pictures of each of the libraries and each of the universities and had it there. So when I'm saying four libraries, there's images. There's a picture of each library and there's a picture of each
Yeah,
university. It's really powerful.
I love that.
And
Yeah,
so
I've been
that's
thinking
how
about
I've learned
doing
to
the
do it.
voiceover thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh
because
yeah. Yeah. And
yeah, I thank you. Man, this conversation was so meant to
well, there you
happen
go.
because
Well, it's
that's what
very,
I've been
very,
thinking of.
it's very timely because this morning I actually recorded the video and I mean, it's a detailed script, but instead of just me talking into a microphone, I'm using all these fun little slides, and I have so much fun putting the slides together. And
Yes. So it's a win-win because
oh
when
yeah,
you get to like enjoy the marketing,
yeah, oh
enjoy
yeah,
anything that you're doing, that comes out. The
oh
energy is
sure,
there. That's what's
sure,
released too.
oh
What you
yeah,
put in will come out.
absolutely, absolutely.
I
So
love that.
so there you go. It's really really easy.
I'm gonna do it. Thank you for that
You're quite
because
welcome.
I was laying in bed the other day like you just need to do voiceovers because I just don't like the idea of just sitting in front of a camera and being like, "Hi guys."
Oh yeah, oh yeah,
Even
yeah,
I've had to do a couple of like I had a Psychology Today profile for a little while and they're like, you have to put a video up. And I was like, oh my God, I have to sell myself like
yeah,
outside of my
oh yeah,
credentials and everything I've put on
yeah.
my profile. So I was like, hi guys, feels really weird to sell myself as a therapist or like a human in a video. So I promise you, if you book with me, like we'll have a good time. Like
Yeah.
you're gonna be fine. We're gonna get you where you want to be. But like that's all you're getting out of this video. I was so real on the video
Oh
because
yeah, yeah.
I'm not gonna sit there and be like, "Welcome to my PBS special." I just can't do it
I
because
can't
that's
do that
not how
either.
I do therapy either.
I
I
can't do
show
it.
up really real, and they get all the best parts of me because I'm not
Yep.
suppressing any of them, you know?
Yep.
So I can't convey that in a video that is in 30 seconds. And so I just was like, y'all just reach out if you got more questions because I'm not going to do this. I love that though.
I'll play with
Voiceover.
it. Play
Okay.
with it.
That's my next point of action.
I learned that technique. Oh, I can't remember when. I think Skillshare wanted me to do a course, and it took me 6 weeks how to learn the technique, and I was so frustrated. But I'm glad that I did because now it's not easy. Yeah. I did I guess it was about 1,000 word piece, and it was about 6.5 words, so it's a lot of work. But to me, it is so much more effective. And
I agree.
in this particular situation, I was selling I'm selling a high ticket high offer ticket high ticket offer high ticket offer. There's about four elements to it. So the closing slide was a list of the four elements, which is to me is far better than just me talking. I mean,
I
so
agree
the
because
people watching it have got a
we
visual of
need to
this.
be able to take in different
Oh
parts
yeah, oh
of what's
yeah, oh
happening
yeah,
to
yeah,
create the whole picture in our brain. It's got to
yeah.
resonate with us. Whatever you're saying or putting out there, it can be really impactful for you, but if that doesn't translate to me,
Sure. Oh
then
yeah,
what does it matter? Why did you put
yeah.
all that time and effort into it?
Exactly, exactly. So yeah, so
Yeah,
give it a
and these
try.
are
Give
not
it a
things that
try.
we think enough about, I don't think. And I don't care even if you're just even if you're not like a small business owner and you're working with other people, be yourself, man, and really don't put your time and energy into things that don't feel like you.
Yeah. When I was when I was practicing law, I practiced for most of the time in a small town, and I set my office up not like a traditional law office. I set up there was kind of like it was an apartment that I converted into an office, and the conference room was the living room, but I had dining room furniture in there. So there was a big dining room table with big dining room chairs and a big dining room cabinet by the side. And so instead of me sitting beside my desk pontificating, We sat around a table and talked, sat around a dining room table and talked. And on occasion, clients would say to me something like, "Gee, Larry, you don't act like a lawyer." And I, "Oh no, what am I doing wrong?" And so then we would chat about it. And I would say, "Okay, so let's pull it apart. Right now, you're seeing me as a lawyer. I have some legal skills that can probably help you in your situation. But if you see me in a few hours, you may see me with my dog, or may see me with my kids, or you may see me cutting the grass or something like that. Those are different kinds of skills. So if I'm cutting my grass, I'm not likely to give you legal advice." So we have all these different parts to our personality, but somehow we take our identity by our job. And certainly there are lawyers who are lawyers 24 hours a day. That's their issue, not mine. But we define ourselves by our role, rather our job title, rather than what's in our heart, what's in our head, what's in our being. And so those conversations were always fun, but it helped demystify me as away from a lofty lawyer to an approachable friend.
You're a human first.
Yes.
And how what makes me this human? And then my job is just part of that, you know?
Sure. Oh yeah.
I agree 100%. But I think that's where so many people are hurting themselves, is even like moms especially who have not formed an identity outside of their children. It's not good. And I used to, whenever I was a new mom, that was me. And I mean, I feel like that's where my generation and older really passed down the generational trauma, is because they didn't really have an identity outside of the children. That child was then a direct extension and reflection of them. And so then we have to control the narrative around this child all the time, which means we teach them no bodily autonomy. We teach them to disconnect from their intuition, because the comfort of others is always going to be placed as the priority. So that's something I'm really working hard to help others with, is to find their identity, because it's there. You just haven't explored it because you've been disconnected from yourself for so long.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And the sister-in-law that I was talking about earlier, she unfortunately developed her identity when she was like 6 or 7. Her identity was a patient. So she spent her entire life as a medical patient. And the amount of prescribed medicine and medical equipment we found in that place that we had to get rid of was just astounding. And she defined herself by, she didn't have depression, she was depressed. She didn't have this, she was this. And it just kind of fed on itself. And that's part of the sad thing is that a human being somehow hasn't gotten in touch with the fact that they are a human being rather than a consuming machine, or rather than something else. So it's a challenge, but for those of us who kind of see the light, we try to do our best to help others.
Yeah, I mean, and that's what it's all about, right? Is that people are going to awaken in different stages. Some people aren't going to awaken, and we've awoken, and we're going to help others, hopefully. And we do, but it is sad. It's hard to watch. It's hard to watch other people when you just go, if you could just shift your paradigm just a smidge, you're just standing on the wrong side of this for just a little bit, and you could have such a better experience here.
Or just, what switch to what you would really, really want to do, rather than what your mother who died 20 years ago thinks you should do.
Yes, absolutely. That is so true. And I think even for me, so I felt very called to be a hospice social worker. So I did that. And I still work very part-time in bereavement work with hospice, but, and then felt pretty led to education for a little bit. So I did that, but I don't think I wasn't supposed to do those things. But then I got to a place where all of that prior learning of my people skills and all the things that I had learned, how to handle crises with families, all kinds of stuff, got me to a place where I was like, okay, I no longer want to do these things for other people in terms of working for others. Like, I should have, that's probably not the right way to put it, but like, I did start to feel that pull of like, it's time for you to be on your own, like
Hmm.
to do this in a bigger way. Um, but I don't feel like the things that I've done professionally were unrelated to my purpose. I've really like felt lucky my whole life to know what my purpose was, because I in college I knew I was going to go into some sort of counseling field. I just needed to pick one. Like, I
Yeah.
didn't, there were a lot of options obviously, so I had to choose that. But once I did, that was easy. Like, okay, I have a path, great. Whereas I know a lot of other people in their adolescence and young adulthood really struggle with that part. I never did. I always knew. I had some little whispering to me when I was like 4, and then again at like 13, 14. I knew, like, I was super solid in what I was supposed to do on this earth.
That's amazing.
Um, it's crazy, but it is. That's what
Yeah,
happened.
that's
But
amazing. That's
like,
great.
I felt like, okay, it's time to fulfill that bigger part though. Like, stop being so scared to put yourself out there, because yes, I don't have any regrets for living my purpose in that manner at that time, but I just felt that call for more. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, we had to have been where we were in order to be where we are. You know, we had to go through
Yes.
some of those things in order to be where we are now. It's interesting hearing you talk about that. When I periodically get asked, what did you want to do when you were 3? Well, as it turns out, I can remember that fairly well. I wanted to be a garbage man. I thought garbage men were so cool. And the family story is the time that Larry took the kitchen garbage and scattered it around the house. And the family was not happy with that. I kind of got
Oh
the
my
process
God,
mixed
I
up
love
just a little bit,
that.
just a little bit. But I went on, and I never really knew what I wanted to do. I was a lawyer by default. I guess it wasn't until I wrote my first book that I thought, yeah, this is what I'm here for. But when I look back, I realize every single job I've had, there has been an element of cleaning up messes. As a lawyer, I've cleaned up more of the messes than I can imagine. As a consultant, as a coach, so the imagery of cleaning up a mess, yeah, it was there. I just didn't recognize it. So the process was there all the way along. Similarly, one of the questions I get quite often is, when did you realize you liked helping people? And the first time I heard that, I thought, but now I realize, okay, it was when I was a camp counselor. Yeah, I was a camp counselor so I could be outside all summer. I didn't want to work inside, so I was a camp counselor so I can be outside. So I taught kids how to swim, how to use a bow and arrow, helping, teaching, that kind of thing. And that's carried through as well, regardless of the role. So it's, yeah.
Look back and see that
Oh
thread
yeah. Oh
through
yeah.
all of it.
Yeah.
Cleaning up messes, helping people. I
Oh,
love that, because
oh, oh
I
yeah.
don't think like that all the time. So I could probably look back at all kinds of things and do that too. I love that.
Yeah, I have
I
to admit,
love that you wanted to be a garbage
I'm
man.
not totally altruistic. I didn't realize this at the time, but now,
Sure, sure.
now with the advantage of looking, take understanding everything I've done and seeing it as a whole, yeah, there's been a consistency there. There's been a consistency there, and obviously, it's learning something and passing it on, because I didn't instinctively learn how to swim. Somebody taught me how to
Right.
swim.
Right.
And riding a bicycle, the same thing. And again, those are two good examples, because very seldom when we're learning something are we perfect the first time.
Right.
That we just, okay, yeah, take a look at kids learning to walk. How many times do they fall before they can do it? So we kind of have
Mm-hmm.
to keep at it till we get a little bit better, rather than say, oh, I can't do this, I'll do something else.
Absolutely. Ooh, I love that. Yeah, and I think too, especially for somebody who would listen to a podcast like mine, I think that we assign like a much higher value to the things that you could do to teach others, like acting as if it has to be this major, like, I learned how to read Akashic records, so I'm going to pass that on. But something like in your daily life, like teaching others how to swim or how to ride a bike, like that could be your purpose.
Oh,
Like,
sure. Oh,
look
sure.
into what what feels good when you're doing it, and you can look back and see a common theme of teaching people things that you've learned, and it
Yeah.
doesn't have to be about your intuition if that's not what you're feeling pulled to do right now. But I think it's easier for us too once we learn to lean into our intuition,
Yeah.
like because one step leads to the 10th step, and sometimes you forgot what the first step was and how you got to the 10th,
Yeah.
but here we are.
I was back there somewhere. I'll figure it out later.
Right. Well, I worry a lot less whenever I'm like, does this feel good? Yes. Okay.
Oh
Instead
yeah.
of like,
Yeah. Yeah.
I need a bulleted plan. I tried that. I really did, because someone early on said you need a business plan or whatever. So I was like, okay, oh, I'm far too rigid to have something like that. Like if I have these specific numbers and bullet points or whatever, then I'm going to try to hit them perfectly. And I was like, okay, so let's scrap that. Let's scrap that. We've got a
Yeah.
general outline of different streams of income and
Yeah.
whatever, but like I don't actually get any control of the outcome of my efforts. So then what? Like you have to decide to work harder when you already feel like you're working really hard. Like, no, for me, I was like, let's detach a little bit from the outcome here and just do what feels good, and then we'll figure it out as we go.
Oh sure. Oh yeah. It's gonna be.
Well, so you, when did you leave law?
Um, about 40 years ago.
And was it one decision? Was it multiple decisions?
There's a variety of factors. We were living in a small town, and it was fun. Everything was in walking distance, and it really was fun, and I really felt felt part of the community. So everything was there, but we were really starting to run out of growing room. We weren't born and raised in a small town, so to us it was a novelty. But it started to wear thin, and my wife is a psychologist. She's retired now, but she was a practicing psychologist. And our professional ethics, I didn't like having people ask me in the grocery store about a legal matter,
Mm-hmm.
and that kind of thing. I didn't like the interbred. I didn't like how close everything. I didn't like how predictable it was. We belonged to a book club, and once we finished reading our book, we knew exactly how the other people were going to respond to every part of it. So it was becoming too predictable. So it's time to move on. We also had two young girls at the time, and we wanted them to have better quality education than we could get in the city. And professionally, it was stagnating because although I was able to do a lot of things as a lawyer, clients thought that big city lawyers were better because they charged more. If we charged more, we were just gouging and driving dollars. But people in the city, man, they know what they're doing. Their hourly rate is. So the really interesting legal stuff wasn't coming my way. So that was part of it. Um, I took a 10-day session in creation spirituality, and I thought that was pretty amazing. So we decided I was going to take a sabbatical and go to Oakland, California, get my master's in spirituality of all things, and come back and do whatever felt right. And that didn't work out, so we wound up in Toronto. And strategic planning has always been something I've been fairly comfortable with, so I started that. So I switched from being a small town lawyer to a big city consultant, and it's been a great process. So once I stopped practicing law, it meant that I, I've had far more credibility as a former lawyer than I ever did as a practicing lawyer.
No, that's so true. Isn't it funny how all it takes is perception?
Oh yeah,
Just the
oh yeah,
way that people perceive the fact that you are a former attorney,
yeah,
you know what you're talking about.
oh yeah.
But if you were still practicing, they'd be questioning every word that came out of your mouth.
And telling me every bad lawyer joke they've ever heard.
Oh, yes. Yes,
Yeah.
I didn't even think about that because I'm not an attorney, so I
Uh,
probably
one of
haven't heard them all.
one of the people would periodically ask what I enjoy most about not practicing law, and I say not having to laugh at lawyer jokes.
Oh, bless your heart.
So
Oh my God, that would be awful.
after we settled in Toronto, I got into a groove and started writing, and it was really writing that helped me do so many absolutely amazing things. So it was once I embraced writing and really grabbed hold of it, and I was fortunate because at the time my wife had been out of the workforce long enough that she wanted to get back in. Our kids didn't need two adults at home most of the time, and so she wanted to get back into what she loved doing. So I kind of backed off. I didn't work as hard, and I did consulting and then got into writing. And she was just loving being a school psychologist. It was just her. Well, right now she's off for lunch. She's been retired 10 years now, 15 years. She's off for lunch with some of her colleagues. So she just loved that
Yeah,
scene. So it gave her a chance to get back doing what she would love doing, generate the dollars to live in the city. And I had the time and the space to write and create and do those kinds of things. So that's how that came about. And
I
it's
love
it's worked
that.
out well for each side.
I love that so much. Man, I've really enjoyed this conversation with you. I appreciate you being here so much. Before we wrap up, is there anything you feel like you didn't get to touch on that you'd like to? Anything you want to shout out about what you're doing?
Okay,
Any however you want to end it, we are good to do whatever
sure.
you need to do.
Couple of things. I'm very aware of time. I don't like stealing people's time. I don't like doing that kind of thing. So, by way of by way of thank you for people who've tuned into the podcast, there's two thank you gifts on my website. Just go to my website larryeasto.com, and there's some questions there on the front. One gift is 26 ways for service professionals to get new business. And it's a free download. Just click the button and instant download. It's ways for service professionals to find new business. 26 ways being A to Z. Kind of a fun book. And the other is New Beginnings, New Opportunities, which is another interesting book. It's just I wrote it during the pandemic and upgraded it last year. And the point of that is to help people let go and move on. When something bad
Yeah.
happens, move on with it. So both of those books are free. And
Wow.
working on a couple of things to be launched in September. So regardless of when this airs, they can find out about visitors can find out about it on my website. LinkedIn is also my only social media. I don't like
Okay.
social media, so I'm on LinkedIn. I've been quiet most of the summer, but that's fine. There's lots of good stuff there.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, I'll be checking it out for sure. That's the great thing about having a podcast where really cool people come talk to you is you get access to all of their stuff because then you know
Absolutely,
about it.
absolutely, absolutely.
And I'm a person who takes advantage of that. I sure do
For
because
sure.
I'm trying,
Good
Larry.
stuff. Good stuff. Good stuff.
Well, I have loved having you
Oh, this was
sincerely.
fun.
I think we're only like 2.5 to 3 weeks out from airing because I had several cancellations in the last few weeks, so I don't think we're too far out. But
Okay.
I'll try to let you know by the day before that it's going to
Awesome.
air. But I do keep up with the pod match dashboard,
Okay.
so whatever I put in there should be fairly accurate for
Good
as far
stuff.
as release date if you look. So
Awesome. Awesome. Well, this is fun.
awesome.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Hey, don't hang up. I'm gonna stop recording and then we'll let it'll take it just a minute for you to
Like that.
upload.
Yep.
Hey, make sure you've given the show a 5-star rating on whatever platform you're listening to if you haven't already. And check out my website, empoweredwithmelissahepner.org, or my link tree on Instagram at melissa.hepner to check out my latest offers or workshops. Emotionally unavailable. All right, that's it from me. So make sure that you check out the show notes for links. And until next time, let's all just keep swimming. Emotionally unavailable.
INDEPE and cut.